Hello there YouTube, it's Vlad from MantaGames here, and today I'm going to be starting my series on how to program in C++. I decided to use C++ over GameMaker because it's just generally a lot faster and a lot more universal. All of the big companies like Nintendo and Sony and Microsoft all use C++ for their games and consoles and all that stuff. Which means, for us indie developers, that if we were to make a game in C++, we could quite easily port it onto PlayStation or Wii or DS or Xbox, whatever we want really, just by changing a few lines of code, which is great. So without much further ado, let's get started on how to install what you need. So you have two main choices when you're going to start your C++ programming. That's either Visual Studio. There's a free version called Visual Studio 2010 Express, which is free. It does take quite a while to download because it's something like, I don't know, 300, maybe 500 megabytes. So that's not ideal. It does come with a nice debugging environment, so if you have any errors in your code, it will find them nicely and point them out to you, which is quite nice. Although it is only for Windows, and it does compile only for Windows, which isn't ideal when we're wanting to move on to DS and Wii and things like that, which we will do later on in the series. So I've decided to go with MinGW. I'm not sure how you pronounce it. But this is free. It's also for Windows, but you can compile for things like Wii and DS and Linux and Mac and whatever you want, which is ideal for us. And it's very minimal actually, because it just comes with the compiler. There's no text editor, there's nothing, so I recommend you get Programmer's Notepad as well. I've already got this installed, so I'm not going to bother going through the installation for this. Very simple, just download and install. This one, this installation is a bit more complicated, not much, but just a little bit. Link will be in the description to this, or maybe even this. You just click on it, starts the download, and have to wait for 5 seconds, but it will start the download. And once you've downloaded it, you just install to wherever you like. I'm going to be installing mine to this directory here, but you can install it wherever you like. And then you just change a couple of things, and it's ready to go. So I'm just going to take you through installation now. Close that. So it's just your usual installation, just next, 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 accept, next, choose a directory. I've already got mine. Put it there, please. Yes, next. Now this bit, don't press next just yet, because that will start the installation. You've got to make sure that you select C compiler and C++ compiler. We don't really mind about these two because we're not going to be covering them, but these two are the main ones. You must include those two. Everything else is fine, we don't really need it. Press next again and install. Now this is going to work for a little bit, downloading some files and installing some files, so I think it would be best if I just come right back after the installation. So I'll see you then. Okay, we're back. The installation's finished. Just untick that box, we don't really need it. And go to wherever you've installed your MinGW. I'm going to call it MinGW. I don't know how to say it. Then you just go into the folder called bin, and in here you should find a file somewhere called G++. There it is. Now if you run that, it should just flicker up and disappear very quickly. So we're going to need to, in the top bar here, just type in cmd, and we're going to type in here G++. Now this should run and tell us no input files. This means that the compiler does work and it's all ready and raring to go, which is great. Although there is one more thing we need to do. We need to make sure that no matter which folder you're in, you can still access this file. Because if we were to go to, say, the folder where we're going to be doing all our project work, which is here on the desktop, and we were to type in cmd here, you'll see that the directory here is different, and if we were to type in G++, it's going to say file not found. There we go. So what we're going to have to do now is we're going to have to, if you like, register this as a path variable. The way you do that, you just go to Start, right-click Computer, Properties, Advanced System Settings, and then you go to, this loads up, Environment Variables, and you scroll down in this second list to where it says Path. It's just there. Double click on that, and on the end of here, after the semicolon, if there isn't one, just put one on there. You're going to type in whatever the directory is to this bin file. So you're just going to copy this, and back in here, you're going to paste on the end of here that. Look, there is the semicolon there, and we're going to put another semicolon on the end. Sorry, I'm slurring on my speech here. Press OK, OK again, OK one more time. There you go. That's it. All installed, ready to go. Now if we were to just close this and open up again, CMD, and type in G++, it's going to say, fatal error, no path found, which is perfect. It means we've installed correctly and it's all working and ready. Now, just while we've still got some time in the tutorial, I'm going to, or the introduction tutorial I should say, I'm going to just make a file and I'm going to compile it, just to show you that how simple it is to compile, and show you that it should all be working if you follow along with what I do. I'm not going to explain the code just yet, but we're going to just go with it basically. So just copy what I write down. Don't really need to know what the code means, but we're going to write this. Using namespace std colon, must have a colon at the end of every line, remember, except for these ones. Include, unless if there's a hash at the beginning of the line, then you don't need to put a colon at the end. Include whatever one of those things called, IO stream, another one of those things. Int main brackets, curly brackets, and then here we write cout. Two more of those things that I don't know the name of. It works. Mishmuck. Two more of those. End L. Semicolon at the end, and we'll just say return 0 with another semicolon at the end. Now if we save that, it should work as a proper file now. So if we were to type in cmd, and now in here, to compile, all we need to do is type in g++ main.cpp -o main. So what this is going to do is it's going to say compile main.cpp, which is that file there, to the output file of main dot whatever it needs to be. In this case it's going to be an exe because we're compiling it for Windows. When we compile for DS and things like that, it will be a ending of NDS for DS, and I think it's DOL for Wii and other stuff like that. So just press OK. Let that compile for a little bit, and you'll see it doesn't tell you anything, but we have got this file here now. So now if we just type in main, it's going to say it works, and then finish the program, which is perfect because it means it's all working. You see it's only 51 kilobytes, which is very good because we got it all good and working, and it's brilliant. So next tutorial we could probably start on how to program, and I'm going to explain what all this code means next time. So thanks for watching. I hope to see you tomorrow, where we're going to be going over some of the basic functions and what you can do with C++. Thanks for watching. Vlad, signing out.